topic here today was mostly pertinent to banking, but it is not really very, and this is my opinion on what I foresee in the banking sector in the next decade or so. But it is not necessarily true for all domains everywhere. So, okay, so those jobs are never going to go away. And if you think about it, then there is, as I said, so this might sound harsh, but the truth is that the development of AI is a very demand-supply game. All right. So there is no demand for, and I'm not being offensive, I'm just speaking bare facts here. There is no demand for a barber's or a plumber's job to be automated. There's no demand for that, because that is cheap labor. That begs the question, however, that should you have such cheap labor that it actually is, something that people ignore in the larger scale of the economy, because that is what is happening. The only reason people are not working towards automating the jobs of plumbers and masons is because they're spending peanuts on that. It's not a cost center. What is a cost center, however, for a bank is a lot of people who will get pay increases over and over, year on year. And this I'm talking from the perspective of someone who is in charge of a P&L of a bank. To some extent, that is a motivator. So the real question here is not whether or not AI can do this and AI can do that in this particular context, but the question is that how do we view that dignity of labor anyway? And that I think is a much more fundamental question to answer. And whether or not AI can do it, the answer generally is no. To the extent of human perfection, AI cannot generally perform to that extent. It can do it in very specific niche areas, but not generally speaking. So that's the last part of your question. As far as the world that you described, which is where all of us are living in a matrix and we are in a computer-controlled environment, my counter question to you is, what part of you thinks that it's not already true?
To an extent it is going.
Not to an extent. Half of your memories are on the cloud. All of your conversations and your relationships are on phones and digital media. So you're already cybernetic. You just don't want to believe it. Okay? And the real question is that when will we fuse with those computers? When will our identity and this is going on a sort of a metaphysical, but I'll just indulge myself for 1 minute. So the real question is not whether or not this will be a computer-controlled environment. The real question is whatever I am thinking in my head and what my phone is doing over there, these are very powerful processors. The problem between them is a problem of bandwidth. I cannot translate my thoughts into the way that a computer understands very fast. That's the only problem. It's a problem of bandwidth. If I can create a high gigabit channel between my brain and a phone, then what you're saying is essentially true. But I'm saying that even with that bandwidth lag, it is already true. Because our existence is part digital. We are cybernetic. Google is an organism. Google is a cybernetic organism which is programmed by the searches of billions of people all over the world every moment. Google is not created by a set of engineers. It was started by a set of engineers. But the way it behaves now is the way that we interact, the links that we click, and the links that we share, and the links that we do. And it is also controlled, once again, or influenced rather, by people who pay the capital for us to see those things. So it's controlled by those things. But have no doubt that we are already cybernetic. We are.